Hey there, everybody. This is Amazing Fantasy Football. Hopefully, this time you can hear me. I am Josh, and that guy over there is, hey, everybody, I'm Chris. I hope I didn't, screw everything up, and, hopefully everyone wanted to tune back in. And looking at you, ZC. Yeah. Sorry about all the technical difficulties. Hopefully, people want to come back and see Josh try and figure this out. It's been a long time since he's had to do any streaming. As far as the broadcasting of the stream and whatnot, usually Chris does that. That's why there's no graphics or anything. So yeah, there's that. I will post this one more time here. Maybe. Thanks, RWC. Thank you very much. I hope you can hear me this time. I just, yeah. Like I said earlier, well, not that any of you heard me, but I kind of got this dumped in my lap at the same time, or at the last minute. The lines got crossed, and yeah. Aha! Yes, I don't know, virtual cables were not plugged into the right virtual holes, and that sounds a lot dirtier than it's meant. I hope you can hear me just fine. Chris is not here today. Oh, yes, I am. See, you can hear Chris's real voice when he's not actually on camera. Yeah. So we're hanging out. Ebo says Cook is out. That means that I need to pick up Alexander Madison again, and you should as well. If you had Dalvin Cook, Alexander Madison should have been on your roster. Should have been on your roster already. Yeah. We are talking about holes again. Well, we're talking about virtual holes this time. Not the real holes. Let's talk about some injuries here real quick. Like Ebo said there. Hey everyone, thanks again for tuning in. It is just me today. I'm out here. Can't you see me? No, we can't see you, Chris. But yeah, it's just me this week. Chris is off on some sort of like family excursion or whatever. I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention when he told me. Yeah. So just Josh today. Anyways, yeah, Evo says that he didn't draft Cook, but he did draft Madison late. Thankfully, I actually picked up Alexander Madison a few weeks ago when Dalvin Cook was going to be, or when it was looking like he was going to be out, and he was actually out that week. And I played him, and it worked out rather nicely for me. And I've actually held on to him since, just because Dalvin Cook's been kind of just fluctuating with that whole I'm hurt, but I'm not sort of thing. RWC says it's good to see Pitt's doing well, and he is doing well this week. And frankly, Chris and I were saying on the recording on Thursday that it was kind of a do or die moment for Pitts with no Calvin Johnson, no Russell Gage. It's kind of a softer Jets defense, but it was definitely do or die week with Kyle Pitts, and he seems to be kind of stepping up. It would be nice to kind of see that this is the game where Matt Ryan learns to kind of trust Kyle Pitts a little bit more or whatever, and put him in the flex and put another wide receiver because it's all good. All I had. LOL. Yes, there you go. Once again, everyone, thanks for tuning in. I will go through a little bit more injury news. I started off at the top here, and not that anyone heard me because the virtual cables are plugged into the wrong virtual holes. I was saying that Devontae Parker was out this week. I mean, you didn't really care anyways. Like, there's no Will Fuller, Jalen Hurts. Jacoby Brissett is the quarterback for the Dolphins once again this week. It sounds like Tua is going to be back next week, but until he is, and even when he is, you definitely want to start your Jalen Waddles and your Mike Gesicki's, but you didn't really care about Devontae Parker anyways. Jimmy Garoppolo, he's out for a little bit. Russell Wilson, he got himself injured. He really must have messed up his finger on it, and it has to be on his throwing hand because he's going to be out. One report I saw said 4 weeks, another said 6 to 8. It sounds like it's somewhere in that range of that 4 to 8 week range, and it sounds more like you might want to expect more like 6 if you're a Russell Wilson. If Russell Wilson is the quarterback of your fantasy squad, I'm sorry if he is. But that really hurts DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. I think it's going to kind of hurt the offense as a whole. Like, even if you have Chris Carson, not that he was playing on Thursday and I accidentally started him because I'm a dummy. Um, yeah, even Chris Carson is going to get affected by this, or whoever the running back is. I think Carson's going to play next week. It's kind of his MO. Oh boy. RWC says that the Dolphins need to use Gaskin more, which I don't know. I mean, like, I think there's a reason why they're not using Miles Gaskin, and like, Chris was really on to Miles Gaskin last season because he was virtually free, and he was getting in, about 2/3 of the amount of snaps, but he just hasn't been all that effective, and to the point where they're starting to use Malcolm Brown, who is not very good. I'm not really sure why the Dolphins didn't try and scoop up a running back in the draft this year. They obviously felt okay with Gaskin and Malcolm Brown that they added in free agency, but yeah. So in the chat here, ZC says, in the meantime, I'm using RWC Strat and looking for anyone I know the name of, and then which is a reference to like the Discord chat where like RWC was saying, it's like, oh, Stephon Gilmore to the Chiefs, and then Shauner dropped a burn with any recognizable player to the Chiefs. That was pretty great. Let's check in on that Dalvin Cook injury real quick, because Evo's saying like a ruptured tendon, which that sounds terrible. Dalvin, or is he talking about the? Oh, I think he's talking about the Russell Wilson. Hold on a second. Let me put my phone on silent, just in case work decides to try and get a hold of me on a Sunday. They know better, but just in case. Oh, Dalvin Cook has an ankle ruptured tendon for yes, thank you, Evo. You were talking about Russell Wilson. I'm just a little slow in the pickup this morning, apparently. Dez Bryant to the Chiefs, yeah, right. I mean, you already got Josh Gordon. Why not Dez Bryant? At some point the Ravens will get sick of Le'Veon Bell, and you can have him back too. He was good at one point, but is no longer good anymore. DeAndre Swift is going to be active this week. The one thing I read is that maybe they're kind of wondering how much he's actually going to play. I think but I read another thing that said that he was just like, fire him up as usual. There was some chat that Jamal Williams should have been played a little bit more last week than normal. Or than he was, but Jamal Williams is also dealing with a bit of an injury too. So I don't know. You haven't really been seeing that one guy that was being hyped. Forgive me, I'm blanking on his name. Jamar Jefferson. You haven't really seen much of him at all for the Lions at running back this year. So I mean, I'm still rolling with DeAndre Swift this week in my one roster or on my one dynasty score fantasy squad. I don't have him in Dynasty, unfortunately. Let's see here. What else? Jayeri Alexander is out this week, and it sounds like for a couple of weeks. He has a foot injury. Is that right? Foot. Oh, I'm sorry. Right shoulder. And the only reason I bring up a defensive player in a fantasy show is that Jayeri Alexander is really good, and especially for this week, that really helps T. Higgins, who is going to play, and Jamar Chase and every other Bengals wide receiver. So yeah, fire those guys up with a lot of conviction. I kind of lost my train of thought there. Joe Mixon is apparently not going to play this week. Let me double check that here real quick. This is as of Friday. That's not very good. Steelers or Ravens asking for a friend. Oh, for defense. Man. The Steelers are playing they're playing the Broncos, but Teddy Bridgewater is supposed to play this week while the Ravens are playing my stupid Colts. I kind of want to say the Ravens against my stupid Colts. Um, I don't know. I'm gonna go with Ravens. My stupid Colts are pretty stupid. Yeah. Once again, everyone, thank you for tuning in. And for ZC here to pop in and be like, I can't hear yous. And so I had to go back to the drawing board and check all those cables and everything. Do-do-do-do-do. No one cares about that guy or those people. I mean, man, there's no one who. I mean, honestly, with the Texans, like, are you? What is this franchise doing with Deshaun Watson for reals? Yeah, yeah. Thanks, RWC. I know Carson Wentz is not doing well. Um, like last week, he didn't even have a touchdown pass. Like it's like the defensive side of the ball is okay. They've been kind of injured, and they're still waiting for guys to come back from injury. This is the Colts I'm talking about here, but like I don't know what they're doing on offense. They didn't get any. They didn't get any better wide receivers. They're still spinning their wheels at quarterback. Like I know they weren't in a position to grab a good quarterback this past draft, but I don't know, man. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I don't want Rattler. He just got benched. RWC says you are probably getting Rattler. He just got benched yesterday for like was he a redshirt freshman? I'm sorry, I'm not really down with college football, so I just happened to see that while the Hawkeye game was on. Go Hawks, beating the number 4 Penn State. I believe Wonder Tech's a Penn State fan. So yes, in your face, Wonder Tech. Let's see here. Ben Roethlisberger, he's questionable, but yeah, he's gonna play. No one cares about that guy. And Julio's out this week, of course. That is a notable name. Julio Jones is out, but the guy who is in is AJ Brown. He is definitely going to play. Um, and I mean, if you have AJ Brown, like fire him up. I mean, it's going up against the Jags. They're 0-4 so far. They're probably not going to get a win this week either. But the Titans D is pretty soft. So I mean, in the Superflex league that Chris and I are in together, I picked up Trevor Lawrence because my second quarterback apparently can't ever stay healthy. So I picked up Trevor Lawrence this week, and I'm playing him. It's a soft matchup with the Titans, and good old Trevor Lawrence has gotten better. He's definitely not on the level of Zach Wilson as far as being terrible. I just, yeah, man, all that preseason hype about Zach Wilson. I watched before I started doing all this. I was watching that a little bit of that Jets Falcons game, and the kid looks awful. He looks really, really bad. It doesn't help that the Jets offense is maybe even worse than the Colts as far as they don't really have a lot of playmakers. I mean, what's his face? Corey Davis that came over from the Titans. He's a decent enough prospect, but I don't know. Let's see here. Dun, 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 dun. This is probably the worst thing. Ebo says, can't decide between Cooper, Higgins, or Jamar Chase for PPR. I can only pick one. Dun, 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 dun. Let's see here. Amari Cooper, Higgins, or Jamar Chase. I'm assuming he's talking about Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper's been pretty darn good, and it's against the Giants, who aren't very good. Man, that's a rough one. I'm going to go Amari Cooper, but it's super close. Yeah, he has been banged up, but it's a pretty, I don't know. I'm still going to go Amari Cooper because Tiggins coming back and Jamar, versus with Jamar Chase too, you're going to pull your hair. I don't know. I feel like you're going to pull your hair out between Tiggins and Jamar Chase. So I'm probably just gonna go with Amari Cooper. Like if it was my lineup, that's what I would do. So that's what I'm gonna advise you to do as well. I don't have the hair to spare to be pulling my hair out over. I should have started this receiver from the same team. I would probably actually end up trying to trade one of them, to be perfectly honest about it. Um, Chris, how's your vacation going over there? Oh, it's going just fine. Looking at the zebras at the zoo. Okay, that's great, man. Thanks for. Well, you won't be tuning in if that's how lame your vacation's going. Um, Let's see. This is like the worst injury report here ever. I want to find out about Chase Edmonds. I know it sounded like Chase Edmonds was going to play, but I want to make sure. It says, according to Yahoo Sports, that he is expected to play this week. Yeah, Evo, like that's a real bummer that you're trying, like you have some good players, and wide receivers are really hard to trade away anyways, because usually most people have wide receivers that they're fine with, and usually when you're trying to trade away a wide receiver, you're usually trying to get either a tight end or a running back and replacement for them. So it's just it's a real bummer, and with leagues that where you don't do any trades or that never make trades, like I was certainly in like my keeper league for the longest time was just notorious for never doing trades, and it's in a 1 year pause for sure right now. And then some of the other leagues I'm in too, they're just like I'm getting trade offers, and I'm sure other trade offers are being made that you can't. Obviously, if you're not involved in the trade, you can't see them. But it's just kind of a bummer, and I guess I've never been in a league where it's just constantly like trades and trades and trades. And I think that one of the reasons is because of all these wide receivers that like a lot of people they're kind of happy with the receivers. So and everyone wants running backs, but no one wants to give them up, And so like running backs are that valuable, especially with tight ends. Like if you had a decent tight end, you're keeping him. Like why would you trade away a decent tight end for nothing, for a bad tight end? And usually people don't have two good tight ends, so yeah. One of my bosses in my work league, he drafted Travis Kelce, and then that guy in Las Vegas. Why am I blanking on his name? Boy, it's right there. It's on the tip of my tongue. Darren Waller. Sorry, my bad. He drafted Kelce and then Darren Waller like back to back, but he can't start two tight ends in that league. So I was really confused by it, and yes, Darren Waller. Thank you guys. I was really confused by it, and I've thrown out a couple of trade offers to him just to kind of see, and he's like, no, I'm keeping both of them. I'm like, for a bye week fill in for Kelce, yeah. Anyways, he's like, I was a little drunk when I did it. So in your league, Evo, when someone did the exact same thing, can you start two tight ends in that league? Like, can you start a tight end in the tight end position and a tight end in the flex position too? Because if you wanted to do it that way, I guess I would never go back to back like Kelce Waller, just because you probably missed out on a top flight wide receiver or better, even better, a running back there. So it's kind of weird that like that would be someone's strategy. Oh, you can't start two tight ends. So that's just, man, I don't get it. Like unless you're like guaranteeing yeah, I like unless you're gonna guarantee that like you're gonna get a king's ransom for one of those tight ends, then what was the point of drafting both of them? Like it just. I don't know, man. People make weird decisions when they're doing drafts. And like I asked my boss too. Did you auto pick? Because like 75% of the league auto picked in that draft, and I'm still losing somehow. He won't trade one of them either. Like if you have two good tight ends, trade one of them away. Usually for a running back that you missed out on in the draft. Like. I don't get it. I don't get it. Anyways, let's go back to some injury news here. Any other questions or injury news? Just feel free to chime in into the chat here. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, it's very warm in this room today. From an hour ago. Okay. It sounds like TJ Hawkinson's going to play. Curtis Samuel's going to play. Devontae Parker, we already covered you. You're out. Cortland Sutton sounds like he's going to play. Anyways, NBA. Why would we look at the NBA one? Nope, looked at that one already. How about this one? Okay. I gotta say, I kind of like this YouTube setup for streaming here. I got the chat over here. I know Chris likes this chat to be in like OBS for some reason. I don't know. I really don't understand why. He's an interesting feller, that Chris. This is interesting. Rashad Bateman may be playing tomorrow night against the Colts, which I mean, I'm a fan of my stupid Colts, of course, but Christian McCaffrey has officially been ruled out. For those of you who weren't paying attention, that means I can move him back into the injury reserve spot. Thanks for making me pull him out, Panthers. But it sounds like next week, it really sounds like Christian McCaffrey could be available next week. I mean, it was kind of a 50-50 shot of him playing this week, so I wonder if they're just being all, cautiously optimistic for next week. They're like, hey, just take a seat, kid. You're not 100%. You're not even 80%. Just, we know you want to get out there, but, yeah. Let's see here. No real Browns of notable interest on the injury report. No Cowboys, really. Denver Broncos. Oh, no. Josie Jewell got injured. Good to go, Hawks. No, nothing else is going on in chat. I will just keep rolling through the injuries here. I'm sorry, I'm not really finding anything like super noteworthy here. Quiddy Pay is still out. CC, you and your Cordero Patterson, man, I really don't like you for that Cordero Patterson from last week, CC. Let's see here. Ebo asked, would I give up Jamar Chase for Josh Jacobs? My initial reaction would be no, but at the same time, if you really needed a running back, I mean, you could do worse than Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs is really not my preferred running back to have on my squad because he doesn't really get a lot of receiving work. He loses some goal line touches to Kenyon Drake at times. But if you really needed a running back and you're sitting there and you wanted to get rid of your Jamar Chases or T. Higgins, I'd probably do it, but I'd probably see if I can't get something. I'd probably spend a day or two looking and seeing if I can't get something better than Josh Jacobs for Jamar Chase. But that's not terrible considering how no one really wants a wide receiver. Because they are just, they're bountiful. Okay, Giovanni Bernard is active for this week. I'm not sure how to feel about that. Like in my dynasty squad, I had a choice of Lenny Fournette or Eli Mitchell, the running back for the 49ers, and I chose Mitchell. Melvin Gordon is going to play this week. Tate Bridgewater is officially active, which means he's probably going to play. I mean, as of Friday, I guess he had cleared the concussion protocol, so that's good for Teddy. Like, I'm glad that hopefully his brain is actually okay, and they're not just like, yeah, you're good to go, kid. And he's turns out to be like a boxer, like has boxer brain by the age of 45. Um, On here it says Russell Wilson targeting week 10 return. So I mean that's like 5 weeks right there. Um, 4, whatever. Amari Cooper is expected to play. Zeke's expected to play. Oh yeah, George Kittle was placed on the IR. If you saw that in the Discord too, it was definitely Chris posted that. Um, he's got a calf strain, and so he's gonna miss 3 games. This is yet another injury for George Kittle here. Like it's like he missed like what 8 games last year. The year before that, he missed like 4. It's just, I think we're officially in the George Kittle is a little injury prone, not like major injuries, but you're going to lose him for like 3 to 4 weeks every single season, and therefore probably shouldn't. I feel like Kittle's in that category of like when he's healthy, he's great, but if he's going to be missing 3 or 4 weeks from you, like next season, I think people really need to kind of take that into account when you're drafting like George Kittle. Like he's a good talent at the tight end position, and like he and the 49ers like to use him. He's a good weapon, but he's constantly injured, constantly. I'm I'm sorry, ZC. David Montgomery, probably spelled it wrong, but you get it. I'm not sure what you're referring to there, buddy. Other than David Montgomery, who is he out? Well, I mean, I knew he was going to be out. Um, yeah, man. I'm sorry. I feel like feel a little responsible for that. For all that. I was like, oh, I hope he gets hurt. Man, I didn't mean that, and then he ended up getting hurt. I'll tell you guys a story here real quick. There was what was it? Was my last championship run in my keeper league. I was going up against like the number 2 guy that year. Yeah, I totally said something about it too. I know. Sorry, man. Anyway, so I was going up against this guy, the number 2 guy. It was probably back in like 2019, and I was sitting there with my girlfriend at the time, and I was just like, okay, we just need Aaron Rodgers to like be out of this game for like the rest of the game, and I pretty much have it. And I'm like, he can just like stub his toe or something, and just so he misses the rest of the game, but he's okay. And then he ended up like falling and breaking his collarbone and missed the rest of the season. I was like, oh no, I feel like really, really responsible for that. And yeah, and then my girlfriend at the time left me because I'm a monster. No, um, she didn't leave me because of that. Yeah, ZC, like he says, it happens. He's not mad at me for that. I tend to have this thing of like cursing players. That's why when I said it last week, I was like, I'm gonna delete that. That's inappropriate, and it really is. Um, wow. T Higgins, we already covered that. Gronk has been ruled out for today. DC also says this year is going to be about managing injuries. Like last year was so bad for my one fantasy squad that I've relabeled my team name the 4077th, which is an old reference for people that like old things like MASH. Um, I just yeah. Okay. Yeah, Baker's dealing with a partially torn labrum. That sounds terrible. I mean, it's in his non-throwing shoulder, but that really sounds terrible. And I don't like. I'm not starting Odell Beckham this week in any league because I have him in a bunch, and I'm just like, hmm. Last year was because of injuries. It was Christian McCaffrey went down with he missed most of the year with injuries, various ones. What was it? Austin Eckler went out for like 4 to 6 weeks with a calf injury. Same with I missed Dalvin Cook missed a game or two. It's a keeper league, so it's really weird that I had all these guys, and I had another running back at one point go down too. That was just like I somehow ended up with through various means ended up with like 4 of the top 10 running backs, and I missed like none of them were ever simultaneously healthy. Thanks everyone for that. I should have won last season, and I wheeled and dealed, and it didn't work out. And now that league doesn't exist this year. That's not a direct correlation, but just saying. That's about all the injuries that I'm really seeing, of note at least. Juju is limited on Wednesday. See, now we're getting pretty old in this injury report here. Yeah. Well, it's 11:25 local time. Stay and hang out, or call it a stream and go back to the drawing board for. Chris sent me like he sent me all the graphics and everything for the stream, that you normally see and everything with like the two of us and how you can slide back and forth between all the scenes and whatnot. And I was just like, dude, he sent it to me at like 2:00 this morning. And like, I woke up a little bit ago and I was just like, dude, really? Like, okay. I don't have time to mess around with this now. I did okay to just get this thing rolling here. I'm still not sure how, the sound, the audio got all screwed up, but whatever. Computer stuff happens, right? So yeah. Got my coffee here. Gonna drink some coffee, watch some football this afternoon. Gonna check the weather. Maybe I can go ride my bike real quick and not be a complete fatso. Yeah, it's working now, and I'm, you guys can hear me. I'm not sure why you would want to, but I'm here, and I have my morning voice. I don't have my hey everybody, it's me. It's my like. Why does your voice get, or at least mine does, get higher as the day goes along? Oh, it's gonna rain? Oh, that's lame. Yes, keep your team name because it's funny. And that's all that matters. That really is all that matters. I'm real big into humor. I like to. I always tell people at work is that the second I stop having like fun in at least a little bit and every day at work is when I start getting very cranky, and I'm really a bad person to be around. So yeah, a little bit of humor goes a long way. Helps break up the day. If it's something as simple as your fantasy team name, yep. Um, there was a guy in my keeper league for like the past, I don't know, like 3 or 4 years, and his name was Toby's Big Ballers, and he had this for the picture. He had a big set of testicles for his team photo, and it was just like, oh man, I think I froze. Let's see here. Nope. Anyways, yeah. So big set of balls that I was really hoping weren't his. Um, yeah. Then it's time for vacations. You see, yeah, it's time getting vacation time again. Josh needs a mental recharge. It's been happening more and more lately, or like the time between those are becoming more and more frequent as work increasingly sucks. But yeah. Well, in terms and talent in terms of fantasy, yeah, that's true. Um, I think I'm gonna call it a stream. I once again I appreciate everyone for tuning in. I I will probably have Chris here next week, hopefully, unless he gets eaten by a lion at the zoo, or that'd be weird if he got eaten by a lion when he wasn't at a zoo. That'd be really strange. Like just like walking down the street and this lion comes up and just bites him in half. Um, and I'm not wishing death on him or injury or anything like that. I'm not doing that. We saw what happened last week. Um, oh, hey Moose. Yeah, I'm gonna bounce here real quick. But yeah, like Chris will be back next week. We'll have our normal recording on Thursday, so the show coming out on Friday. Um, yeah, thanks for tuning in, everyone. It was kind of a yes. Good luck, everyone. Moose says good luck to all of you, and I wish you all good luck as well. Um, if you have any other questions or whatever, if you just want to join into the Discord, I didn't put them in the show notes because, like, once again, last minute. Um, but yeah, you can check out the Discord and just kind of chat and whatever, like throughout all of football today. And yeah, everyone have a good day and best of luck to you and your fantasy squads. Now, just trying to figure out how I end this stupid stream here. Oh, you